What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? This is the Press Play Podcast. I'm your host, Drew, along with my co host, Troy.
What's going on, guys?
All right, so today, guys, we got a good episode, a big episode, an episode that'll get people feeling good and feeling bad.
It's a little bit of a mixture, a little indifferent here.
Yeah, something like that.
So, love-hate relationship.
An abusive relationship.
I mean, yeah, you can call it that.
And what better way to describe an abusive relationship than Call of Duty? Because that is what that game is. All right.
Been multiple years, decades of just a slow snowball forming downhill.
Right? There's good days and there's bad days, but at the end of the day, it might have started out real nice at the beginning. Hugs, kisses, flirtations. We got it all going, and then slowly over the years, just the bitter cold hatred just really comes out, and the love and affection's not there anymore.
Murder attempts, trying to get ran over by a car called Modern Warfare 2019. Great things. Great things.
Wonderful things. All right, so I guess how I want to start this off is maybe not going to the roots in the beginning of Call of Duty, but going to where we started our Call of Duty journey. And
Yeah,
I'll go first. So
go for it.
as far as for me, I hadn't really played that many Call of Duties up until around, I think it was 2010 leading into 2011 that Black
I
Ops came
think,
out.
yeah,
So Modern Warfare 2 was the first one I ever played. I rented it. I played it. I thought it was good. I thought it was fun, but I wasn't like in love with the series. I just thought it was something fun and neat to play. But man, what really kicked off my love was Black Ops, and I was hooked ever since I saw that trailer. To me, to this day, it's still one of the most badass, cool trailers of all time. I just remember the music they played. I remember just the sequencing, the cinematics, just everything was just perfect.
iconic. It was iconic
Iconic.
stuff.
And the exploding crossbow, that's what really got me hooked. I was like, wow. I was like, this is really cool because we hadn't seen anything really like that. I mean, sure, Turok might have
Not
had
at
like
all.
some stuff like that, but this was cutting edge, like new graphics. This was like, really, this was the time when gaming was starting to elevate to the next level, was around this time period. I think you can agree.
Absolutely. I mean, you can't forget the ballistic knives either. I mean, to
Mm-mm.
shoot knives at people, I mean, that
Mm-hmm.
was. I don't know a game that was like that unless you want to say God of War, but he was throwing blades, not really shooting knives.
Yeah, it was like in a different like sense. I mean, there's always going to be cool stuff going on in single player story experience, but for like FPS first person shooter, just with there really wasn't much to go off of it around that time. I mean, there were some games like Medal of Honor, and there were some games. Well, I guess actually the Rainbow series wasn't even first person; it was third. So really, only
No.
Medal of Honor is really the only one that I can think of, and that was first
Well, they
person.
had Battlefield.
Oh, I guess Battlefield was
It was
out.
it was before Battlefield was really Battlefield, but
Well,
I think three was three out then.
I
I don't know.
don't. It came out right around that time
I
period.
think it was still two.
It
Either way, it was Medal of Honor, Battlefield, Call of Duty. Those were the shooters.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of competition, is what we're trying to say. So, I mean, I guess Halo, but it wasn't a militaristic one. It was a future like sci-fi type stuff. But
It was also Xbox only.
and it was
So
Xbox only too. But Call of Duty, I mean, whether you love it or hate it, it literally shaped the whole landscape of gaming. And for better or for worse, it's kind of up to you. It had a lot of good and a lot of bad, but I mean, we don't need to keep harping on this, or I don't need to keep harping on it, excuse me. So you can go ahead and, give us your analysis, kind of what got you in the Call of Duty franchise.
yeah, so my first Call of Duty was World at War. I remember because my dad played it because he loves World War II. I like World War II, but he finished the campaign. I remember going into the room. I didn't know he was done playing. The game was still on, and World at War, if you know, after you beat the campaign, it loads you into Call of Duty
Mm-hmm.
Zombies.
Yep.
And so I wasn't like one of those people obsessed with zombies. I was more of a multiplayer guy. I loved competing. So back then, I didn't really get into multiplayer. It really wasn't until I think Call of Duty 4, which was before I played a little bit of multiplayer on, but it was really Black Ops. And I loved it because like you played, you earned COD points to unlock camos, attachments, like all that.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it was, I don't know, it just, maybe it was because we were younger and we were still at school, but like to me, that game was, I mean, almost perfect. Like it was insane how great that game was. And it's one of those things where you want it to get back to that point. You want to feel that joy again, but it's like it's to the point. I've pretty much cut COD off. I mean, I haven't played it. I think in 6 months, maybe even longer. I can't deal with it anymore. I can't compete with the people who can do all that movement and stuff. It's no longer like an arcadey shooter.
Mm-hmm.
It's almost like you got to be able to do that stuff in real life to. You almost have to be a Navy SEAL in order to compete with the people on COD.
That's sure what it feels like because I know for me, Call of Duty isn't even a fraction, not even probably a tenth of what it used to be. I used to be able to hop on, like you when we were kids. We weren't like the poorest family, but we weren't the richest either. So it's not like we were getting new games all the time. I remember for me, like I think one time when I got a good grade on a test, I got like a game, and aside from that, it was either I like had to mow yards or like shovel snow or something if I wanted to get money for a game because we don't have like full-time jobs, during that stage of our life. It's either do
No.
that, do like side work, or wait until your birthday or Christmas to get a game.
I remember COD would come out and we'd have to wait like 2 months
Mm-hmm.
almost to just to play it. And dude, I mean, I'll tell you the way I knew COD was fun back then was because that was like the last time I could play a multiplayer game alone and
Mm-hmm.
still have fun.
Yeah,
Like anymore, like I can maybe play a couple rounds, but like playing alone, if I can't play it alone, I don't have fun with it.
I agree a
And
hundred percent. I agree a hundred
COD's just
percent.
that way.
That's how it's been since Black Ops 4 for me. That we can get into that
Hmm.
later, kind of like when we think the real, maybe not downturn in general, but like for us personally began, like when we stopped enjoying the games, and that for me was one Black Ops 4 because exactly, literally verbatim what you said. When you stop playing a multiplayer game and stop enjoying it by yourself, that's when the franchise is just really taking a turn for the worse.
Yeah. And I mean, there's some people still they'll play it alone. That's the only game on their system. I can't. I can't, especially for 300 gigabytes now. I can't. I'm not keeping it on my console for that much
No,
to only play it once, maybe a month.
no, I refuse to keep it on my console. There's no reason. People can say that the zombies now is good, and while it may be better than it has been in a decent amount of time, it is by no means good. I think people have the bar set so low right now that anything that's even mediocre is
Mhm.
like considered great. And I think,
Oh yeah.
everybody has their own opinion. You can have your own opinion, but for me, I'm not going to lower my standards on what's good based on how bad something has been. I can give them props and say, hey, they're doing better, but I'm not going to lower my standards and act like, hey, they're doing this great job when in reality, it's shit. Um,
Yeah.
the first map they came out with, Terminus or whatever, isn't that what it's called?
Yeah, for zombies.
That
Hmm.
map, I will give two thumbs up. You can't even see it. It's cutting me out. What I don't know what the hell's going on. Two thumbs up for that map. That map for me is probably a top 10 Call of Duty map of all time. I can't even believe I'm saying that. It's really good. It is honestly good. The Easter egg is fun. The map is fun, and I mean, granted, like
Yeah.
the user like interface and like how like the weapons, like how you get the weapons, and it just kind of looks like Warzone and all that. I hate all that. But I put that aside because the map I think is really good, and even though there's really not that much of a story and there's not that much of good interaction between the characters, the map itself is designed almost as good as it could be, and it's huge, but
Yeah.
it doesn't feel overwhelming.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's almost like it's a big map without being too big for it.
Mm-hmm.
Which I mean, when I saw you could play it up and stuff, I thought it was gonna be like a huge, massive
Mm-hmm.
like world. So I was relieved when I saw it wasn't, but I still don't like the armor plates and
No,
zombies.
I don't like that at all. I don't
I
like
just
the.
don't feel like it does anything. It gives you like a false sense of security, really.
Well, no, they shouldn't like. They need to bring it back to how it was. Whenever you don't have body armor and zombies, don't have all these like Warzone aesthetics and multiplayer aesthetics
Yep.
in zombies. Zombies has always been its own thing, and when you try to bring it in to with the multiplayer and in with the Warzone, its touch, obviously, but I'm trying to think of the word. Uniqueness, I guess. There's nothing really unique about it aside from like obviously the enemies and like the wonder weapons and the perks. Like it
Yeah.
just gets kind of sloshed together with those two game modes, and it doesn't feel as unique.
I mean, yeah, that was one of the things that kept zombies because I mean, pretty much you had two, well, I guess three groups of people. You had multiplayer people, you had zombies people, and then you had people that did a little bit of both. And I would do a little bit of both, but I would play multiplayer way more than zombies. Uh, and I mean, I personally think with zombies, they should have. We've talked about this.
Mm-hmm.
They should have released its own separate game, and they should have just kept it kind of like seasons almost with with all the original four for COD
Mm-hmm.
Zombies, and they should have just kept that and then released a season. You play those, and then they create the second season of the story, and they should have just kept going with that and just releasing the maps so like don't tie it down to COD because
Mm-hmm.
there's a couple CODs where zombies isn't that great, and there's a couple where it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, and I mean, you just get confused as well whenever you're jumping through hoops of, oh, this COD made this zombies, but not that one, and it's just, it's way too confusing for no reason
No,
at all.
it's so stupid. What they should have done this whole time, because everybody can, like, people might have done okay here and there. Extinction might have been fun. World War II zombies, like, that was pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it wasn't like amazing, but I thought that was decent. But what they should have done, they should have just had Treyarch zombie team just full blown. I don't know how long they have to take. Maybe they can just have its own like separate like game. They can just do zombies and then
Mm-hmm.
just like kind of like how you alluded to like with the seasons and all that. Bring back the old cast. It doesn't matter if they cost money. Call of Duty is a $1 billion company. Now it's a $1 trillion company, I think, with being involved with Microsoft. So there's no excuse about any of this horse shit for we don't have the money. You are owned by one of the biggest companies in the world, and you're gonna sit here and tell us that you can't afford to hire a voice actor? No, you will gain so much more of the old school player base if you go back and you bring people what they truly loved. And this is just zombies. This isn't multiplayer. This isn't Warzone, which, God, when we get into that later, I can't wait. I hate Warzone, sorry. I can't stand it. It is the most overrated, most overhyped piece of dog shit game mode I have ever played in my life out of any game. And I'm sorry.
Yeah,
This is how I feel. The game is horrible.
I
And
mean, yeah, it just followed a trend, and it's COD, so people are gonna just play it because it's COD, but it added nothing really to the franchise other than just another reason to have microtransactions and make extra money.
no,
That was its only purpose.
I'm going to refrain from getting almost violent here, and I'm going to hold it aside until we get into Warzone because, I mean, we're already talking about zombies, and we should probably wrap that up, and then we can come back to it later. But as far... Never mind. Just moving on. We'll get to it when we get to it because I'm about to just blow a gasket. But moving on, we can wrap up like quick on the zombies aspect. They need to bring it back to what truly made it unique, and that has to be by bringing back the original characters. I mean, you can add characters here and there if you want.
Mm-hmm.
Like you can have some different like groups of people, and I'm sure it'll be good and fine. But when you have a cast that perfect and then just disband it, like I don't understand because it's not like any of the people that were working on it died. I get that Jason Blundell isn't there, so the original story isn't going to be there. But man, you when you lose those people, you lose what makes zombies zombies because obviously it's about the gameplay, it's about the map design, it's about the wonder weapons, it's about all that. But that is coupled with the fact that the characters just give so much life to the game. I can't even think of how many quotes and like zombies that I still like kind of use in everyday life just from the game.
Yeah. I mean, also you have to realize as well is like COD is notorious for beating a dead horse to make as much money as possible. So why of all of the things that they decided to discontinue was that zombie story? I
I
mean,
guess
I'm glad they did, but because I
yeah.
mean it ended pretty well. I'm
Oh, it
glad they
ended
did,
great.
but it's like
But
based on their past like history, why would they give up on that?
my thing is they probably just didn't care and they want to cut corners just like how they do with everything. How they're having AI design, pictures on Facebook for them now. How they're having, it isn't like official, but we all know that they're having AI like help with the making of their maps and all that. We know this. I mean, you can put two and two together. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure this out. I mean, the maps are horrible. That's one of the biggest critiques of this current Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is the maps.
Yeah, I mean, they don't play well.
No.
I think there was maybe one I enjoyed, and I don't even remember it. But, I mean, there's still bugs from day one that are still in the game. I forget the name of the map, but it's a small map, but it sits parallel, and then it's like stone staircases in the middle that you can go up and fight. And to this day, you can still shoot through those stone stairs and hit the people through, like, I don't know, a 20-foot long piece of just stone. And it's like, so you can get shot right off a rip, right out of spawn.
Well, they
and I'm like,
that's
yeah. I mean, people already bought the game. People are going to keep buying it. People are going to keep buying skins. It's pretty much the new Fortnite almost.
And we should probably wait till the end, like it's like a whole like big picture thing, but I'm gonna do it right here, right now. So I'm gonna play Uncle Sam. I want you who's watching this to stop buying Call of Duty because that is ultimately what is ruining. I'm not here to tell you like what you should and shouldn't buy with your own money that you work for or get whatever. That's not why I'm saying it. I'm saying it because the game will not change for the better if you keep buying it. That is why I'm saying it. Because they're gonna keep throwing just slop in our face and telling us they're gonna keep pissing on our head from up above and telling us that it's raining. That's what they're doing right now. That is what's happening.
Yep. That's what's happened to tons of gaming, that's an episode in of itself. But
it is.
Think of 2K.
It all starts with Call of Duty, though. Yeah, and you're right about 2K.
Yeah.
It all starts with Call of Duty.
Yeah, I mean, as consumers, we literally can make decisions. Like, if we don't like something, we don't buy it. They either have to change it, or they're going to lose a bunch of money.
Yeah.
So, like, that's the amazing thing about being a consumer. If you don't like something, don't buy it. You know why? Because they have to change it. That is their survival, right. Is them getting people to buy it. And then when you get stagnant and you just keep making the same game, copy and paste, and people keep buying it and just keep buying it, and they're like, well, maybe this one's going to be better. It looks better. It's never better. I'll tell you that.
We've been saying that for like almost the past 10 years. So it's going to get better. It's going to get better. It's going to get better.
Yep.
When has it gotten better?
Never.
To see it.
And then people buy it, and people are like, all right, cool. Well, why are we going to fix it? Because why do we need to? People are already buying it. It's not like we're fighting to survive.
And I get that the numbers are inflated a little bit because Game Pass. If you got Game Pass and want to play it, I'm not going to dog you for that because it's free, basically. I get that. If you just want to, play it because you got Game Pass, that's one thing. But if you are going out of your way to buy the game, I'm not even calling you a bad person, but I'm just trying to say that is why the game is in the state that it's in. That's why they don't care because, hey, $60, $70 we'll take, and that's just the game. That's not the horrible microtransactions. That's not all the bad practices they do. That's... And now they're getting in, like implementing a system in multiplayer to where you can wish list the guns, the weapon skins, and the equipment skins in multiplayer.
Yep.
Like, what is wrong with
They have that many. They have that many skins that you're able to wish list them
well,
now.
Not even that. Like, at this point, the players need to make the decision to stop paying for it. But also, at this point, with the slot that's getting thrown out, they just need to make Call of Duty a free-to-play game. It's already on Game Pass. Just make it a free-to-play game.
I mean, Warzone's already free, and that one makes them the most money. So, I mean, why not? I mean, why do I have to pay $60 to pay another $60 to get my guy decked out and look cool?
I don't know. There's no... This is like a problem that's been going on for probably like 12-ish years.
Right. Over a decade. That's it. I mean, it all started, I think, personally, with Advanced Warfare, because they started, and thank God they don't do it anymore. But when they had those different weapon variants, and so some guns would do slightly more damage, or would shoot
I got one of those
guns. Oh, I got tons of them. But, I mean, you can go watch videos of people saying, like, if you got this gun, like, you won every gunfight. And I'm so glad they don't do that anymore. I don't know why they stopped doing it, but that's probably the best thing they've done in the last 12 years. But that's what kickstarted the microtransactions. That's what kickstarted all that advanced Omni movement. Which, yeah, I liked the game. I thought multiplayer was fun. I thought it was a
I
blast.
played it and
Zombies
I
was pretty
enjoyed it.
fun.
Yeah, Zombies
But it
was
started
good
it.
for its time.
It kicked the snow at the top of the mountain that's slowly turned into an avalanche over the years.
And an avalanche it has been, and we're all just swept up underneath all that snow, and it's snow filled with piss. It is yellow snow. It isn't just normal snow. Because that is exactly what they're doing. Because nobody is stepping up to the plate. No, like there's the old school people that aren't buying it, that are playing other stuff, but nobody is taking initiative. And that's not even with Call of Duty. It's with anything in life in general. People will just accept just the bare minimum because they don't want to stand up and they don't want to say, hey, I'm not going to be part of that. I'm not going to do that. Well, guess what? Nothing's going to change. If you stay complacent, nothing's going to change. So, you kind of, you dig your own grave, and that's what these people are doing. They're digging their own grave, and then they're laying in it.
Yeah, it's, unfortunately, I don't think it's going to get any better anytime soon. I'm hoping the new Battlefield, it looks like they're going back to how Battlefield 3 and 4 was. So I'm really hoping that one's really good, because if they can start to get people to switch over to Battlefield and away from COD's going to have to make the move. So yeah. I'm faithful. I'm hoping that Battlefield finally, because they tried to compete with COD for too long. COD would be like, oh, we're doing World War II. And they're like, oh, we're doing World War II.
Yeah, it's the dumbest thing ever.
World War II for Battlefield, I think that one was a good idea. World War One, when you got like a gun and like one in a couple of attachments, it's like, why? It's like, why even do that? But that's Battlefield. That's not even COD.
No, I get it every so often, but I don't know why they like keep going back. Like once every like 5 or so years, maybe I can get like going back in time. But it doesn't always have to be World War One or Two. It could be Vietnam. It could be Cold War. It can be like any era. Like there's
could be the Korean War.
Could be the Korean War too. But no,
I don't think there's been one for the Korean War.
I don't think there has either. Maybe like one of like the lesser. I don't even know. I'm not even gonna pretend like I know. I don't think so. But regardless, I don't think there is. It's just like, why does it always have to be World War II? There's some of the best Call of Duties have been World War II, but that doesn't mean everyone going forward has to be World War II. Like,
it's just a gimmick. It's a gimmick to get older people who used to play COD to buy their game because it says World War II.
I mean, that's the only thing that I can think of. So we have gotten just all over the place. Like, I'm not even going to try to pretend, but it's so hard to stay on track when you're talking about a game that has, it's like a boat, and there are so many holes on the boat, and you're just trying to plug them all at the same time because the ship is sinking. We are on the Titanic as we speak. The Titanic is Call of Duty, and we have ran into that iceberg, and we are getting on the life rafts right now. There's really no hope. We're just trying to stay afloat in the life raft and not fall under and get swept under by the current.
Women and children first. We're stuck to deal with it.
We're still on. We are still on the shift. We're jumping off trying to hold on to the life raft as they're going away. That's what it feels like, trying to save this game.
I think I'd rather just jump into the water and...
Me too.
And just...
I'd rather jump down and then have my head get hit on an iceberg and that be it. At this rate.
That's for the next COD. That's for MW3. No, they're already on 4. It's for MW4.
No, the next Call of Duty is Black Ops 6.5. It's going to be like an update, basically, of this hogwash that we have now. And I you know what? I can't wait till it comes out because I just know that it's going to be a fire, just like the previous game, and the previous game, and the previous game, and the previous game. And then it's going to do, like, great at sales, and then the whole player base is just going to jump right off, just like how they are this year with Marvel Rivals. Woo!
Yep. It's not going to be a fire that you want to keep warm.
Nope.
It's going to be a
GTA
fire that's...
6! So guess what?
Yep.
Call of Duty is going to be in the worst spot this year that it has ever been. And I am so excited for that. Because finally, we're going to see just diminishing returns on the Call of Duty franchise. Man, it just brings joy to my soul to know that this game is going to be so far under. Our foots are going to be on the neck of Call of Duty in a gaming sense. Like, it's glorious. Because it needs to hit the absolute rock bottom. They need to lose so much money. And they need to have such a little player base that they just have to, like, build themselves back up.
Hands down.
That's what it's
And you know
take.
what? it sounds bad. I don't even think if they built themselves up, I would probably even keep playing. I don't know. It'd have to be a really good game. I mean, it'd almost have to be like a Black Ops 1 remaster with no microtransactions for me to maybe even attempt it again. I don't think there's any salvaging it for me.
I watch multiple Call of Duty YouTubers, and they all have come together, like, with maybe not the exact same idea, but the general consensus of the idea of the only way to make the Call of Duty that releases this year be any sort of viable option to be played is to be a Black Ops 2, Black Ops 1, something like that, remastered with no microtransactions and with no skill-based matchmaking. Barring that, and done perfectly, mind you. It has to be done perfectly. No skill-based matchmaking. The maps the same as they were, everything just almost spot on.
Copy and paste, better graphics.
Literally. And if it is not that, then there's no chance. There is none. Because they have shown time and time and time again, they just do not care. It is negligence.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. I know people know it's bad. But, I mean, it's like watching a house fire start to spread down the neighborhood, and you just walk the other way. You're just like, I'm just going to go back into my house until it catches fire.
Well, I agree with that, and you should say something, but in this case, I'm just going to keep my mouth closed, and I'm going to keep walking. And I'm going to have a smile on my face as I'm seeing that house just up in flames. And we're just seeing the people jump out the window, and I'm just sitting here just smiling from ear to ear.
You're going to be the captain from Pirates of the Caribbean who's while the ship's being burned apart and blown apart, he's just walking down the steps.
Yeah, I'm gonna be like the Joker after he lit the pile of money on fire. That's me, just sliding down, just with a smile on my face. I mean, dude, it is just, there are so many directions that we can go. We have literally like hardly even harped on anything, and it feels like we've already been doing this for half an hour, and I think we have been doing it for close to half an hour. Like, Call of Duty.
Don't tell me you're speechless now.
I'm not speechless, but like, where do you like truly dive in? Because there's so many angles. It's like one of those voodoo dolls. You got so many needles, and you just gotta point, or acupuncture. You just gotta poke it into just every like section that you can find, and that's like, and every place you can put in a pin is where there's something wrong with Call of Duty. And where you can like just show that it like has fallen off,
Well, what 3 things do you think make a COD good? If you had to pick 3 things.
The 3 things: weapons, maps, and I mean, I guess no skill-based matchmaking. That really doesn't count. Maps, weapons, and I'll throw in zombies. Even though like you don't need a good multiplayer, but for a good overall COD, I'm gonna say zombies.
I would agree with that, but I'd put replayability, because obviously if you're playing multiplayer, like the recent CODs at least, after about 3 matches, I can't play it anymore.
Oh, I get that, but the thing is if you have good maps and good weapons and good zombies, you're gonna have replayability in of itself.
That's fair.
Because what Call of Duty that has those 3 things that you can't think of that's at least renowned is like a decent Call of Duty that you haven't played a bunch? I can't think of any that I've thought all those had that.
None recently. My memory's getting a little faded because of all the garbage I've intaked.
Yeah,
over the last 12 years.
No good weapons. Like, there's a couple overpowered, and that's it. And by good weapons, I mean balanced. Like, to where you can use any weapon and do good or have fun with it. You don't need, like, that was one of the things that made all the good, like, older Call of Duty so good, is you could use the weapons that weren't the top of the tier, because they were still viable options. Now, if you're not using the Streamer 123 BA3 freaking sweat setup, you're done for.
I remember there's a streamer who he made a YouTube video, and it was a YouTube short, and someone asked him what ruined COD for him. He's like, well, what ruined it for me was like 3 days before the new Call of Duty even came out, they are already releasing meta weapon builds. Yep. And he goes, yeah, so any hype for the game to come out was already ruined, because I was like, well, I already know what weapons people are going to be using and running with.
Right.
There's no uniqueness. Everyone always gets it, and everyone always comes out with, like, you don't, You don't have to try weapons out to figure out anything. Like in Black Ops 1, MW3, like the original one, you had to try out weapons. You had to figure out what people were doing with those weapons to make them good.
Right.
Now you just Google, get on TikTok, go on Instagram, and just look up what's the meta build now for Warzone. And most of the time, it's a weapon that there's no recoil at all.
Normally,
it's like, how is that even fun? I mean, if you design a weapon and build it to have no recoil, I mean, sure, but like, it seems like it happens all the time with meta weapons. And it's just like, I don't understand how you can do that to your player base.
well, the thing is,
Like,
they don't care about the player base. They care about the money.
No.
And they have shown that time and time again. They don't care. They want that is skill-based matchmaking is the crux of the issue, but there is so much more than just skill-based matchmaking. Because take for instance this game, you remove skill-based matchmaking from the game, it'll be better, sure, but it's not going to be a good Call of Duty. So
no,
sure, it might be the catalyst, but it's not the end-all be-all because like I just said, it wouldn't be a good COD.
I just don't get still the skill-based matchmaking. I don't, mainly because every other... like, take for instance Siege. Anyone who wants skill-based matchmaking plays ranked. If I'm just coming home from work and I just want to enjoy some multiplayer, play with friends, have fun, I shouldn't be punished for having one good match.
No.
And then the next 3 just be the absolute best people in the world, like the top 20... and just get absolutely slaughtered. And I mean, I like to think I'm pretty good at games. I've played them all my life. I feel like I can kind of compete. But I mean, even people like, Zeke. Almost any game he picks up. And even Zeke, I'm pretty sure, he doesn't play that. No. And I mean, that's someone that's that good at games who won't be a part of it. I mean, that, to me, that says everything you need to know.
It does, and for you guys that don't know, some of you guys that know us will know Zeke. We went to school with him. For me, like, as far as the people I know in real life, he is by far the best player I've ever, like, known personally. He is great at shooting games. He was one of the first people that, like, got to a Diamond on Siege back on console, back, like, when Diamond was the top tier that you could get on Siege, like, at the early days. So that's what kind of caliber of player we're talking about here. And, when he just gives up on the game, like, that's what skill-based matchmaking is, though. It's designed to hurt the better players, or, like, the decent players, and it has meant to make everybody feel like they're just a 1 KD player. That is the intention and design of skill-based matchmaking. To make everybody feel like they're the same, so nobody feels like they're way better or way worse than they are. But the good players know, because they were so much better at the previous games that didn't have it, that, you just know.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's like the problem with a lot of these games is like Madden. The reason people are so good at Madden is because they've been playing the last 5. That game doesn't change much. Call of Duty, really, the game doesn't change much. Especially when you release another Call of Duty and you keep all the previous game's weapons in that game. Now, you don't even have a chance at the new weapons because everyone's already got their builds for the old ones, so if they want to do good or just massacre you, they're just going to use their old weapons. It's, I don't know, skill-based matchmaking's up there with, I don't know, some pretty bad stuff in history.
I mean, it is, and ultimately, it all starts, like, from the players, obviously, buying the game, but skill-based matchmaking, as far as, like, what was implemented into the game, the skill-based matchmaking was the catalyst, like, for what they put into the game in order to start destroying the franchise. Because, it might have been in Black Ops 3, it might have been in Black Ops 4, but it was so light compared to what it was in nowadays current Call of Duty. Because I would play Black Ops 3, I was horrible at Black Ops 3, I went back and looked at my KD, it was freaking, like, 5, dude, it was horrible. I used to be so bad, and I'm not even that great now. Like, my KD in Black Ops 4 was only like 1.5, 1.6, something like that, which isn't even that good. It's like, just like, maybe slightly above average. But regardless, like, I would still, like, have some really good games in there. I would still feel like, I was pretty decent at it. But, I don't know, you can't get that feeling anymore with the current CODs.
And honestly, it's not even worth it. I don't want to come home and be at the point in my life where I get stressed out over a video game because I force myself to play it. I think it's ridiculous. And if I was, if I streamed for a living, and I would do it.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't mind that, but I ain't doing it for free.
No.
I'm not putting myself through that for free. No.
And I don't know who wants to do that. Like, people, like, I just don't understand. You want to, like, either work a job all day or go to school, whatever you do, and be stressed out all day. Maybe not necessarily stressed out, but just busy all day. You're trying to come home and unwind, and then you just throw that on yourself.
Let's start up some COD.
Why? That's the worst. One of the worst things you could do to yourself. It's like saying, I hate myself. Let me just hate myself some more. Like, you have to truly not like yourself or be such a bad player if you are loading that up to play the multiplayer and you are thoroughly having an enjoyable, good experience. I'm sorry to tell you, you suck. Like, there's no ifs, ands, or buts, because there is not one player that doesn't get paid. Not one. Find me a player who enjoys playing the game that doesn't make money somehow, either from competitively playing, either from making videos on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, whatever, or just making content of them raging. Find one person that actually enjoys the game besides that is like a quote-unquote good player. I am going to guarantee you, unless they are sucking on Activision's you-know-what, no. You're not going to find one.
I feel like most of their player base is just stoners.
It has to be.
You got to be on something to enjoy that.
No, dude, you have to be on more. Like, dude, even if I took a gummy or something like that and played, I wouldn't be enjoying it. You need to be on some hardcore stuff to want to be playing that game and enjoying yourself. Let me tell you.
Drew doesn't smile when he plays COD.
No, I smile when I delete it from the system. It's the only time I smile. I haven't bought a COD since, I think, Black Ops 3 or World War 2. Or maybe it's Black Ops 4. It was around that time. It was one of those older ones. At this point, which it's crazy that I'm saying it's one of the older ones when it feels like it just wasn't that long ago. But it was.
Every year, people convince me to get it to play with them, my other friends, and I was so glad when they finally put it on Game Pass. But also, it was bittersweet because I was like, well, now I don't have an excuse to not play it.
Yep.
Because before I'd be like, dude, I'm not paying $60 for that. Are you kidding me? That game looks terrible. Now it's like, well, it's free, so what's your reason now? I'm going to say, oh, I don't have space on my console.
Well, yeah. That's fair, though, because it's a one hell of a game.
Yeah, but when you only play the same, 3 games with them, and those are the only 3 you play, you can't really say you don't have space.
It's time for them to broaden their horizons.
Oh, they don't play it anymore. I don't know one person that still plays COD.
I don't think I do either. I really don't. And I knew a lot of people that played it. Even Lucas and Aaron, shout out to them. Don't know if they're going to watch this, but they even stopped playing. I saw Aaron the other day at Walmart, and he said that him and Lucas, they play CSGO. Or whatever it's called now.
Yeah,
CS2 or whatever. I don't know what it's called, but
I don't blame. I don't know why you'd play COD. I really don't. I don't know why. I mean, like I said, unless you're getting paid to play it, I don't know why you would.
I couldn't tell you, dude. I could not tell you for 1 second.
We're gonna have to get a psychologist on the podcast.
We're gonna have to get a psychologist. We're gonna have to get a therapist to undo what's been done over the years of pain and torment.
Get Tevis in here.
Yeah, he plays the game, or he plays Warzone or something. I think from time to time. So he would be the.
I've never seen him play Warzone.
I thought he said that he'd been playing Warzone with some of his friends from church, but I don't know. Maybe not. But he used to for sure.
Oh, probably. I mean, I used to play Warzone. Biggest mistake of my life.
It's the biggest. We can, I guess. Why not? Here we are. Let's go into Warzone. After. I mean, hell, we've already disregarded the template we had anyways, because we're just doing this from the heart, because we're not Joe Rogan. I mean, I sure as hell like to be one day, but that's not what it is.
I mean, like you said, dude, COD is so you just snowball. You can talk about zombies and end up in multiplayer. You can talk about multiplayer and end up in the first campaign. Like the whole thing's full circle.
All right, so here we are. Here is what I am just ready to just. So Warzone, what pisses me off the most about Warzone isn't even Warzone in of itself. It's the fact of how people like Warzone. Because Warzone is not even that good. Because you know why? Take for instance Blackout. Blackout was in Black Ops 4, one of my favorite Call of Duties. Blackout is renowned by almost everybody that played it, as a better battle royale than Warzone. Why did Warzone get popular, you ask, and not Blackout? Blackout was not free to play. You had to buy the game in order to play the battle royale. If it was free, I guarantee you would have been received totally different. But that's not even like we're not even talking about the content in it or how it played. We're just talking about it like as a whole. So you take, for instance, like the content and stuff that's in it, it's better in my mind because it's like an actual battle royale. Whereas Warzone, it doesn't feel like an actual battle royale. And Black Ops 4, you drop down, you don't have any equipment, you just go around and loot, you find weapons. Sure, some things might have been unbalanced here and there, they fixed all that. Like the 9-bang, that was so broken. My God, that was so broken. Just bang, 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 bang,
Bring
bang,
back
bang,
the
bang,
nine
bang.
bang. I'm still flashbanged and part of my vision to
I'm
this
still
day.
flashbanging to this day, too. It was almost 30 seconds of just disorientation. Like, you didn't know where you were, and it's just, and you're done. So, there's that. But, like, as far as the map, as far as the weapons, as far as just the layout of everything, it was done so well. I played Blackout by myself. I don't ever play Battle Royale games alone. Ever. I played Blackout alone in there. I loaded in solo and played it a lot. I really enjoyed it.
Blackout, I mean, they combined like zombies with it. I mean, it was fun. It was broken, but it was fun.
It was.
But here's the problem: Warzone cares more about money than Blackout did. Because Blackout, I mean, it was just it was battle royale, just in the game. It wasn't its own separate thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then ask me, all right, this is from a year ago. This is last year. How much? What's the most you think Activision made in revenue in 1 quarter? 3 months. What do you think?
God, they make a lot of freaking money. I'm gonna say I don't know. It's probably got to be in the hundreds of millions, or is it billions?
Take a guess. Take a guess.
I don't know. I'm gonna say 500 million.
It's probably 1.85 billion.
Jeez. Oh my God.
They made almost 2 billion in 3 months. It just rests my case.
I mean, what is there to say after that besides stop buying the skins? Why are we buying skins for something we can only wear for a little bit and then it goes to a new game the next year?
And most of the skins aren't camouflage anyways. You want to tell me how Nicki Minaj is on the battlefield in camo with her reflective like bodysuit? You'll tell me how I got killed probably more times with that thing wearing that than anything else, and I only wore it to mess with people. I'm not a Nicki Minaj fan. Dude. I only wore it to mess with people, and all it did was hurt me.
Dude, and that finisher that she had where she just falls down on it.
Literally, it became a joke and then embraced it.
It is a joke, and you know that's fine.
They had Snoop Dogg. You know what it's like to get shot by Snoop Dogg in a game?
Probably not too good. I never played.
You only get a couple of those and you uninstall it. Yeah.
Well, that's
trust me.
Call of Duty used to pride itself on being a realistic arcade military shooter. Like, obviously, the realistic, having a couple bounds here and there. But we're not having Snoop Dogg out on the front line or Nicki Minaj. I haven't seen them in any war except never mind. Those are two of the last people I would expect to be going out, on the front lines. So I don't know why we're dressing up as, like, I get it's, like, kind of fun or something. I guess something to remedy that because they want their money and they're money hungry and they're just Activision scum. I mean, we could go into their, like, studio and, like, like, the workforce and, like, their environment and how bad that is. We haven't even gone into there. There have been...
That's not where I thought you were going with that.
Well, we can get into that. That.
You said go into their workplace, and I was like, I heard workplace, and I was like, all right, let's calm down now.
No, I didn't mean it as in like a threat. We can go into the workforce here after this, but as far as the Warzone aspect, like a quick fix to remedy that. Like, I don't want to see any of that crap in my game, and I get there's people that do. If you want to have that, like, fine, but let us turn that shit off so we can, like, it can just be like base skins or default skins or just skins that are like realistic and like not like that crap. Because in Black Ops 4, sure, you'd have some, like, in Black Ops 3 you'd have some like goofy skins, but it's not Nicki Minaj and Snoop Dogg. It's like just some different coloration or maybe some samurai armor or stuff like that. It's still in the same world of like war. It's not straight up Snoop Dogg huffing and puffing and then you're dead. Like, come on, man. Like, it's funny. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's not funny. It's funny and it's entertaining, but why can't you have the option to turn it off?
It bewilders me.
I
I don't know. I'm trying to think of what else they added in there for skins, but I'm blanking on it. I know there's tons.
I know
I know
that
you
they
could run
added.
around as bunny men,
You could.
rabbit men.
They added the content creators too. I remember they added Tim the Tatman, then took him out. I forgot what it was about, but they took him out soon, like after they added
Didn't
him
he?
in the game. I think it's because he criticized him
Some
or something.
slur.
Oh,
I
was it
thought he said a
slur?
slur
I
of
thought he
some
criticized.
kind.
I don't know. Everybody
I
says
don't know.
everybody
Could
messes
be
up at
anything.
some point. PewDiePie messed up at one point. Hell, he's still one of the most popular YouTubers.
Well, also, it's like, have you ever been in a COD lobby? You telling me that you telling me that everyone in those lobbies are saints? Yeah.
Yeah, I have heard and learned about everything that I know to this day from the old Call of Duty lobbies. Whether it's
Oh
right or
yeah.
wrong, that's up for dispute. Which and it's not wrong. People can say it's wrong, but it's just it's not even like like you're not meaning it in like any bad way. It's just gamer talk. It really is. It's not. People have to grow up at some point, and man, when I was 11 years old, 10 years old, I grew up real fast in those lobbies,
Fighting for your life and
fighting for your
in
life.
the sixth grade.
But one thing I will say that most of the people when we played, they were a lot better towards kids like that were younger back then
Yeah.
than I would have thought. Because now when it's kids that are like 10 and 11, like if I see them or interact with them when I'm gaming, it is horrible. I don't know if we were better. I'm not trying to like toot our horns, but
I think it's generation.
I think it's a
I
generational thing because I think we were a lot more tolerable. Sure, all the kids are annoying. That's not disputable. I'm not saying we weren't annoying, but there is like a complete like different level of the kids
oh
like when we were growing
yeah.
up and the kids now.
Well, I think also a lot of those guys it was kind of still that mentality of like leave the kids out of it, and now it's like, I mean, half the time kids are more vulgar than any adult I play with.
Oh yeah,
So like, it's a lack of, you let your kids on these games with strangers who they don't care. They'll
no,
say whatever. It's not their kid. They probably live thousands of miles away anyways.
right. Well, and the
So
thing is,
that's a parental thing, but
it's an
I
immature
mean,
game, so a kid like that young technically shouldn't be on it. So,
no, but I mean, we grew up playing it, so
well,
I
we
mean,
grew up
who am I?
playing
Who
it.
am I to say it? My first video game was Mortal Kombat, so I mean, what can I say?
Well, my first game was GTA San Andreas, but
Yeah, we
but
turned out kind of okay.
okay-ish, not perfect by any means, but better than some.
We function. We function.
We function to some extent, maybe not the best. But I don't know. I guess I digress. We can move on from that. It's neither here nor there. We've hit damn near everything I can think of. There is
Well, let me ask you real quick before we move away from Warzone.
mhm.
Uh, how much? How long do you think Warzone's going to last for it? For they either make a new one or they
Well,
cut it off?
they are already all hands on deck trying to fix it now. They're trying to here in this next update, they already delayed it by 2 weeks. They're going to have Verdansk come back, and if that isn't really the catalyst for fixing Warzone, I was watching some YouTube videos, and apparently they're going to stop focusing so much on Warzone and have like most of the people that are working on that come over and start helping on the multiplayer and zombies again. So
All right, sounds like a couple years maybe, if that.
I don't
I was
know.
gonna say 5 years, but I didn't realize how bad it was because I stopped paying attention.
I don't necessarily play it or pay that much attention. I just watch YouTubers and go over what they say. I mean, it's like basically it's their job, so they go over it and talk
Yeah,
about it. And I'm curious to see how it's going. And I used to watch those YouTubers and respect them and like them, so I watch their stuff, even though I hate Call of Duty and don't really ever plan on playing it. But And that's the thing. Like, to kind of go back earlier, like another way we can change it. Why don't we have people going back to the older CODs? Sure, they might not run great, and like it might not be the best, but why can't we just go back to some of the older ones? Oh, I know why. Because when people tried to do that in some of the previous ones, they were like making the servers bad and shutting the servers down and having all these
Yep.
issues. Because guess
Yep.
what? They want people to play the new one. Because they can't stand when people go and play the older games that are 10 times better than the slop that they throw at us now.
Yep.
You literally cannot win with Activision. The only way you win is by not playing their
Nope.
game.
They I mean they have you at every single turn. If
They
you
do.
you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. If you play them, you're damned. If you don't play them, I mean it's better, but still it's COD's just I don't even know what better way to describe it than just it's just one of those old barn animals that just you just need to let it go. It's overstayed its welcome, and it's just cruel to keep it alive and to keep kicking, and needs old Yellard.
It does. And just one quick little thing on Warzone. I guess I really didn't get too much into. I got why Blackout was better, but as far as why Warzone now isn't good, I just quickly kind of like some of it. It just is so lifeless. Like it's not that good. The map design isn't good. Um,
It
the
feels like a ghost town with people in it.
It does.
It's weird.
It feels lifeless. Just the color scheme I don't like. It feels like a ghost town even with the people in it. Um, the guns are just the same as multiplayer. It's literally like this is the same setup, and the fact that you can buy your loadout, that is what really did it in for me. Because battle royale becomes not battle royale whenever you can get your multiplayer loadout. If you like somehow get it by picking it up, that's one thing. But to be able to actually buy it, that is so dumb. Maybe the only way I could get along with the loadout drop, and even then I wouldn't really like it, is if you got to select a loadout whenever you would get an airdrop. That is like the only
Hmm.
way I could see it being like a reasonable way to do that. Which even then I would still kind of have an issue with it, but it would make a lot more sense than everybody having their just kit that they use in freaking multiplayer with their 7 attachment guns and their sniper with a thermal and their LMG with just a 700 round magazine. Like, man,
Yeah,
like
I-
who wants to play that?
yeah. I mean, either that or I mean, make it more expensive. I think to buy your gun, it was only 4,500. You can get that by running through like a house. So like they literally took battle royale and then they were like, well, we'll just make it cheap so you can just use the weapons you want. At that point, just let me drop with my class.
Literally, like, and then I just I mean, there is no point for me to play it. I don't like it. Never have liked it. I've never liked it since when I first played it. I've always thought it sucked. I've always thought Blackout was 10 times better, and I'm gonna die
I
thinking
enjoyed
that.
it for a few months.
I never enjoyed it. I played it for a couple months when it first came out, just because people were
Yeah,
playing it. But and,
that's
and
when I
not to
played it.
mention why when it came out was during COVID, so it was literally the perfect storm for it to succeed. It could not fail. Cause what are people doing besides sitting in a mask, driving around in their car, and playing video games at home? Nobody's doing nothing.
I think I've seen people play COD multiplayer more recently than Warzone. I don't remember the last time I've seen anyone on my friends lists, Xbox, PlayStation, whatever, play Warzone. I just haven't.
Mm-mm. Nope, I sure the heck haven't. And now I got some lawsuits from the upstanding individuals at Activision Blizzard that we can get into, just showing the kind of
Yeah.
great clientele that we have, working on the games that are at the studio and
Go
the kind of
for it.
individuals they want. So this is the first one and probably the juiciest one. So we have a sexual harassment case. So it says right here in 2021, the California Civil Rights Department (CRD) sued Activision Blizzard for sexual harassment, pay discrimination, and retaliation. In December 2023, Activision Blizzard settled the lawsuit for $54 million.
They made
Now,
1.85 billion in 3 months.
yep, employees walked out
Nice.
in protest of the lawsuit and the company's response to it. Now, I don't know if that's the lawsuit that I'm thinking of, so I'm not going to say that was the exact one, but I know they had like some controversy and a lawsuit happened because there was a girl who killed herself that worked for him for Blizzard Activision because they were sharing around nude photos of her in the workforce. The employees were sending them around to each other, and she ended up taking her own life.
I remember that story. And then you didn't hear anything about it. Swept under the rug.
Swept under the rug, sent this big old check to whoever, and then sweep it right under the rug. Not our problem. Money can fix it. We don't care about that. That's pennies to us.
Yeah.
Who
Money
cares?
can bring back life. Yet to see that yet.
Yeah, I've yet to as well. She doesn't get to respawn, but nice try, Activision. So I'm not gonna go into the video game addiction one because I don't really care about that. People get addicted to video games. People get addicted to everything, so I don't really care about that one. But this is an antitrust one. Pro gamers sued Activision Blizzard for monopolizing the Call of Duty tournaments. The lawsuit alleged that the Activision Blizzard charged entry fees, took half of their revenue, and prevented them from competing in other tournaments. So we got the people who do the tournaments at Activision not wanting them to participate in any other tournaments and taking what did it say? The lawsuit alleged that Activision Blizzard charged teams entry fees, took half of their revenue. So half of what they earned, Activision was taking? So you weren't even winning the full prize? You were winning half of it? What? This isn't the freaking lottery. What?
Finder's fee.
Finder's fee, yeah. I mean, man, when do they lose?
They don't. COD doesn't lose.
COD doesn't lose. Besides losing players right now, that's about it.
Thanks, Marvel.
I'm glad that they came out. Thank God that game came out.
Anytime someone knocks COD down a peg, they're my favorite game.
Literally. Any competition that COD has and where they're losing players and losing money, I'm just for at this point. I am so anti-COD at this point that, just anybody that's against them, I'm for. Because it's just, they're not even just a bad company. They're a horrible company.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they do not care about the players. They do not care about the people that work on their own games. Who do they care about? They don't care about anything except some big old check coming in the mail. That's the only thing they care about. They care about their revenue. That's it.
Or probably their partners too, that try to convince people to play the game. And this year it's going to be different. Oh boy, I can't wait.
Buying into it, so.
That was the biggest lie I was ever told, was this year it's going to be different.
Yep, I'm going to change. How many people have we heard that from? I can think of one recently. I'm going to change.
I can think of a couple recently.
Me too. But I guess, jeez. You see, I briefly went over this, over this list of stuff that we were going to talk about. But I have brought up all this stuff without even looking into it. I've just mentioned it all, just in talking about it. Like, this is AI, this is esports. We just talked about that a little bit. The current state of the franchise, I guess we've already talked about that, but
covered that. I mean, it's not going well.
Not good by any means.
Not good.
We already talked about AI, how they're using it to design the maps, how they're using it for advertisement.
Yep.
I think they're using it for the voice acting too, because they kicked out and shunned their voice actors because they didn't want to pay them. Shocker!
Yep. After the lawsuits, that doesn't surprise me one bit.
All right, here we go. Here we got a future outlook for Call of Duty. So our little future prediction. I'm gonna give mine. I think COD will probably stick around, but I don't see them thriving. I could be wrong because I thought Call of Duty would have died a while ago, but I don't see it going up from anywhere. I don't see how it can go up, unless they just get brought back from the ground up. I don't see how there's any way that they can go back to even a third of what they used to be as a company, just because they have downgraded in every single way imaginable. They have not upgraded in any way over the years. I mean, the Zombies was mediocre this year. It had one good map. The rest weren't good. I don't. I mean, people have the right to their opinion. They could think the other ones are good. I don't. I'm a hardcore zombies fan, and I do not enjoy them. I mean, I know the zombies YouTubers might like it because they got a lot of views. Because Call of Duty, when it launched, was pretty popular because people were buying into the hype, and the launch zombies maps were decent. So people were like, hey, maybe this is going to be different. No, it's just the same thing. The player base already died off just as quick as it ever has. I mean, it has the lowest Steam numbers that it's had, like, pretty much ever. It's just a dying animal at this point.
It is. I mean, I don't think COD will ever get back to its glory. I really don't. I think the next big COD, whenever it comes out, which I think probably be a few years, I think it's gonna do exactly what Warzone was meant to do, and that was to just take a dying franchise and do something innovative and just suck as much money out of the consumers as it possibly could. I I don't think they'll ever have a consistent revenue stream. I think we're going to see this fluctuation where the players die off and it drops, and then the new one comes out and it spikes, and then it's going to drop off again. Which with GTA and coming out and the other games, it'll be interesting to see if their player base even hits its normal average for when they release. Because
Yeah,
GTA 6 comes out and it's like actually good online and like there's stuff to do. I don't know anyone that's going to play COD over GTA 6.
I don't either. That is all, like, me personally, I'm excited for it, but I am not like just over the moon, just ready for this game like everybody else is. I'm excited for it. I think it'll be fun. But it's GTA has never really been my like just game that I just am just in love with and just want to just play every second of the day. I like it. It's fun, but I can easily go ahead and play other games. I'll put it down.
Oh
So
yeah, me too. I ain't putting it down for COD. Tell you that right now.
no, no,
I
I
I
would,
ain't, I ain't tapping in COD over that.
dude. I would rather play mobile games than COD, and I don't even like mobile games. But my
I
God,
think I think I'd rather sell my consoles and never play a game again than play COD. And you may call that overreacting, you may call it whatever you want.
be honest
I
with
mean,
you, if that was my option, play COD the way it's going, and that's the only game I can play or not play at all. I'm actually, I think I would be right there with you, and I would just find something else to do, because it is just why you wouldn't have anything to look forward to.
no, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do it.
Nope. I sure the hell wouldn't either. So we're both kind of in lockstep there. Call of Duty, we really don't see anything changing except it just
No.
dwindling player base, to just continue dropping off, falling off. Continue just to make a game that, might do well at launch, but falls off shortly after. I mean, there's just no heart soul. There's no vision. It's just how can we extract the most money we can out of these people and do it every single year. That seems to be the mindset. At least, maybe I'm
That's
wrong,
their yearly meeting, dude.
but that's what it sure the hell seems like to me. And we've already predicted it. So I guess we can just.
I think enough's been said at least for this episode.
Okay.
We can come back near when the new one's about to come out and maybe some things have changed, but doubt it.
Yeah, I mean, we can update this if, make an update episode if something drastically changes. But maybe. And we'll probably
Doubt
be
it.
mentioning Call of Duty, and if we do some news videos, which I think we'll probably do some news related podcasts and talk about, the current state of gaming. We're just
Oh
trying
yeah.
to, get back in the rhythm of doing these podcasts, and I know we haven't been perfect, either one of us, especially me. I feel like I've been kind of losing track and like misplacing, but the thing about this is you just do it
Me
a
too,
couple
man.
times and you get back in the rhythm of it. And with editing and stuff, it won't seem near as bad as what it probably is. Thank God for editing. But we'll get better as we go. We'll get back in the swing of things, and we will. I don't know. What do you want to talk about next? I'm thinking about a current state of gaming video
Yeah, we
podcast.
can do that. Yeah, that or what up some upcoming games that are releasing maybe. I don't know.
All
There's
right,
tons of ideas to go over.
something like
There's tons
that.
of stuff coming out. There's tons of good stuff in the future coming out. So we'll pick one and throw it out there.
Yeah, we'll have something good for you guys. So just to reiterate it one more time, where do we think Call of Duty's going? Nowhere but down.
Down.
So I just want to thank you guys for taking the time out of your day to watch this video again. I know we rambled a lot. We kind of got, off topic, but it's because we at one point in time loved Call of Duty and wanted to see nothing but it succeed because it's near and dear to our heart. I can't speak for him. I know
Yeah.
he does like it, but to me, Call of Duty was a top probably 3 franchise of all time up until Black Ops, like after Black Ops 4.
It was a childhood game. That's what it was.
And I guess on that note, we can end it off here. So I want to thank you guys again for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button if you enjoyed, and we will see you guys next week for another episode. Thank you guys. Peace out.
See ya.